Hello, dear student. I'm your chemistry teacher, Miss Sunny.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into the incredibly strange world of the atom, and we're on a mission to answer one huge question. How do you actually find a single electron? Well, it turns out every single electron has its own unique address made up of 4 coordinates. We call them quantum numbers. So, let's get ready to decode it. So, that's the big question, right? How in the world do you find one? It sounds impossible. But here's the thing. Electrons aren't just buzzing around the nucleus totally at random. Nope, they actually exist in very specific, designated regions. So instead of picturing this chaotic swarm, I want you to think of the atom as a highly organized city, where every single electron has its own precise address. So in this explainer, we're going to break down that address piece by piece. We'll start with the big picture and then zoom all the way down to the tiny details, covering the 4 quantum numbers and the one simple rule that makes it all work. Okay, let's make this really simple with an analogy. I want you to think of it like a cosmic postal service. You know how your home address needs a country, a city, a street, and a house number to find you? Well, an electron's address is pretty much the same. It has 4 parts, our 4 quantum numbers, that pinpoint its exact location and its state within that atom. All right, let's jump into the first part of the address, the principal quantum number, which we just call N. In our analogy, this is the electron's country. It gives us the main energy level that the electron lives in. So N defines the main energy shell. And if you remember Bohr's model of the atom, with those K, L, and M shells, well, N is basically the modern quantum version of that idea. Its value can only be a positive whole number, 1, 2, 3, and on and on. No zeros, no fractions, just simple positive integers. And here's what's so crucial about N. The bigger its value, the larger the shell. That means the electron is further away from the nucleus and it has more energy. And the coolest part? This number connects directly to the periodic table. N is the period or the row number where you'll find that element. It's all connected. All right, we found our country. Now it's time to find the city. This is the job of the second quantum number, the Azimuthal quantum number, or L for short. This one defines the actual shape of the electron's neighborhood, which we call a subshell. Now here's where it gets really clever. The possible values for L are completely dependent on N. The rule is pretty simple. L can be any whole number starting from 0 all the way up to n-1. So let's say our country, our N value is 3. Well, that means the possible cities or L values can be 0, 1, and 2. See how that works? It's this beautiful built-in logic. Bigger countries get to have more cities. So each of these numerical values for L corresponds to a letter and a really distinct shape, as you can see right here. And these aren't just some abstract drawings, They represent the actual 3D region in space where you are most likely to find that electron. When L is 0, we get the s orbital, is the simplest one of all, just a perfect sphere centered right around the nucleus. Nice and easy. But when L equals 1, things start to get a lot more interesting. We get the p orbital, which has this very distinct 2-lobed dumbbell shape. And this shape, it's absolutely fundamental to chemistry. It's these lobes of the p orbitals, reaching out into space, that allow atoms to form strong covalent bonds with each other. It's a huge deal. Okay, so we've got our country, N, and our city, L. Now we need to find the specific street. For that, we turn to our third coordinate, the magnetic quantum number, M. This number, it tells us how that orbital shape, that city, is oriented in 3D space. What's really interesting is that the need for this number actually came from a real-world observation. Scientists noticed that when they put atoms into a magnetic field, their spectral lines would split apart. This is called the Zeeman effect. And that splitting could only mean one thing. The orbitals had different alignments in space. So, just like before, the possible values for M depend on L. They can range from negative L through 0 all the way to positive L. And this explains exactly why different orbital shapes have a different number of orientations. An s orbital, it's a sphere, so it only has one way to be oriented. But a p orbital, that dumbbell shape, can be aligned in 3 different ways, along the x, y, and z axes, giving us 3 distinct p orbitals, or 3 streets. We're almost there. We've reached the final piece of the address, the house number. This is the spin quantum number, S, and it's pretty unique because it describes the property of the electron itself, not just its location in space. Back in 1925, physicists discovered something amazing. Electrons behave as if they are spinning on their own axis, kind of like a tiny planet. And this spin creates its own little magnetic field, which can only point in one of two opposite directions. That's it, just two. And that leaves us with only two possible states. We call them spin up, which has a value of +1/2, and spin down, with a value of -1/2. And this is so important because each orbital, each street, can hold a maximum of 2 electrons, but they must have opposite spins. They have to be different house numbers. So now that we have all 4 parts of the address, the shell, the shape, the orientation, and the spin, let's look at the one master rule that governs this entire system. And here it is. This is the Pauli exclusion principle, and it's the fundamental law of our entire cosmic postal service. It states that no 2 electrons in the very same atom can have the exact same 4 quantum numbers. It's like the universe saying, look, no 2 houses can have the same address, period. This is the rule that guarantees every single electron has a unique identity. So the key takeaway is this complete hierarchical address, right? We start big with N for the main energy shell, then we narrow it down with L for the orbital shape, then we pinpoint the specific orientation with M, and finally, we identify the individual electron with its unique spin, S. It's a perfect system. And that leaves us with one final, really powerful question to think about. If this simple set of 4 numbers and one basic rule can define the state of every single electron in the universe, what does that tell us about the underlying structure of the entire periodic table, and really the entire field of chemistry that's built on top of it?